الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما إخوة الإيمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another opportunity today to gather here for another Salat Jum'ah. Today being the 28th day of the month of Rajab in the year 1445 after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 9th day of the month of February, year 2024. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has spared our life from last week Friday till date, may He, out of His mercy, continue to shower His mercy, continue to shower His nobility upon the noble soul of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatimul Anbiya wa Imamul Mursalin, the zeal of all the prophets and the last of all the messengers, his companions, his household, and we that were on his path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us aright. Today, we will discuss concerning the Crusaders and the invasion of Jerusalem, and which is the Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa. 2 weeks ago, we discussed about the freedom of Jerusalem from the year 10,099, and we said there are some legends in our Islamic circle that we ought not to forget about them, and there is no way we want to talk about Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, who was a legend in Islam, who fought ferociously for the Aqsa, for the Masjid Al-Aqsa and the liberation of Baitul Maqdis from the Crusaders. We discussed about Zainul Islami Al-Arabi, how the refugees from Damascus, they went to meet him, for him to come and listen to them, for him to run to the Khalifa in Baghdad, who was the Khalifa of the Muslim then, on how to come and rescue the what? The Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa. At the end of the day, Zainul Islam Al-Arabi, he was in the class doing halqa for the Muslims, and this refugee, they interrupted his discussion, and the interruption was not illegal. It was legal because it is to save the soul of Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis, which is the Jerusalem. Alhamdulillah, Zainul Islam Al-Arabi, he was able to stand up and he led these refugees. He led them, so-called refugees. They are also Muslim brothers. But for us to get a better understanding and a better clarification, we call them refugees. Because they were humiliated by the Crusaders that invaded Masjid Al-Aqsa. So Zainul Islam Al-Arabi shut down his alcohol, closed his library, and whatever he was doing at the point in time, he led these refugees, he led them to where? Baghdad, where the seat of caliphate was domiciled. On getting there, he was not given opportunity to see the Khalifa. He was there for some days, not until on Friday like this, that he now went to the masjid. He stood up when the Imam was delivering his khutbah. He stood up. He now started eating bread during the day of Ramadan. Brothers, I'm trying to bring us to flashback so that we can understand where we are going to start from today. Because without understanding all this, we cannot appreciate Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. And whoever doesn't study history will be romanticizing the past. There are some things that are just fables. There are some things, or there are some stories, or there are some narrations. They are just imaginations. But if you don't understand the past, you'll be romanticizing whatever you are being taught. So, Zainul Islam Al-Arabi stood up in front of the Muslim congregants. He started eating bread during the day of Ramadan, and we all know whoever does that in our midst, we knew what will happen. So the whole masjid became a rowdy place. The khutbah became a rowdy session that they need to hold on to Zainul Islam Al-Arabi. It was at that point in time, he now exclamated, he now mentioned that I've been here for some days. Masjid Al-Aqsa was under rampage, was under invasion. And I'm here to speak to the Khalifa, but unfortunately I have not been able to see the Khalifa. This my action send a message to all of you, so that the Khalifa, who was already in the masjid for Salatul Jum'ah, will be able to know that something is happening over there. Now, all of you are shouting, all of you are creating noise in this masjid. Over 100 people, 100,000 people. All of you, you want to beat me, you want to turn me into pieces. But the Masjid Al-Aqsa is there crying for your support. None of you was there for it. That was the majority of them that are revolting against Zainul Islam Al-Arabi. They came back to their senses. And the Amir, the Khalifa, then bowed down his head and he started crying. Because the wordings that came out from the mouth of Zainul Islam Al-Arabi can only come out from the heart. Can only rooted out from the heart and come out from the mouth of an alim and a conscious scholar. So it touches the heart of all those that were in the masjid that very day. Alhamdulillah, at the end of the day, Zainul Islam Al-Arabi was listened to, and he was in that community in Baghdad till the following Friday. And on the following Friday, he was given the opportunity to do what? To lead the Salatul Jum'ah, and he delivered the khutbah. An eloquent khutbah was delivered by Zainul Islam Al-Arabi. So the Sultan or the Khalifa then now sent to the neighboring country that I needed help from you to come and support me. The Seljuk, we call them the Seljuk. That I needed support. The Seljuk supported him with some army. They went back to where? They went back to Baitul Maqdis, and that was the year 1099. And that was how the liberation, the first liberation, July 1099. That was the first liberation of the world of Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa. After some time, these invaders came again, which we have already explained all these 2 weeks ago. It was Abul Fadl Ibn al-Hassab. Abul Fadl Ibn al-Hassab, he was the one that also stood up again and went to Damascus. And went to Baghdad. It was another Khalifa that was on the throne then. He also cried to them, and they didn't listen to him. So he created a pandemonium in the community to threaten that all the community people, all the resident members, they had to stood up and supported him. And that was when the Khalifa then now sent an emissary to Seljuk towards Aleppo. And they now sent a commander to him by the name Al-Mawdud Ibn al-Aris. Al-Mawdud was a warrior. So it was Al-Mawdud that now went with his battalion. They now went to where? To Baitul Maqdis, to go and fight the Crusaders. Al-Mawdud successfully got back Baitul Maqdis for us. That was the second what? The second liberation of Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa. During the battle, Al-Maudud got injured and he now went back to Damascus to go and rest. He went back to Aleppo to go and rest. After some time, he now came back to Damascus to come and greet his friend. And his friend was the governor of that particular Damascus, whom was reporting to Ridwan, the Sultan of Aleppo then. Aleppo is in Syria, as I've explained to us. I'm narrating all this so that we can appreciate and see the contribution of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not come down and is not going to send any angel to us to fight for our cause. We need to fight it ourselves. So the kind of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, are we going to have him again? Or do we have them in our midst that we are yet to discover them? That is the essence of knowing what had happened in the past so that it can rejuvenate our own life. The liberation of Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa was gotten the second time. But when Al-Maudud ibn al-Aris went back to Damascus to greet his friend, that his friend, as I said, was under the supervision of Ridwan, which I mentioned to us. Ridwan was fighting because of the throne with his younger brother. He saw the support of the Crusaders to fight his brother, who was fighting him because of the throne of being the Sultan of Aleppo. After Salatul Jumu'ah, Al-Maudud ibn al-Haris, with the governor, his friend, as they were coming out from the masjid, and higher assassin came from nowhere and stabbed him. Al-Maudud never recovered from that injury, and that was how he died. And he was the one that helped to fight for us to get the what? Baitul Maqdis the second time from the womb, from the Crusaders. We call Crusader as-Salbiyun. Al-Salbiyun. These are the people of magnanimity that have helped Al-Islam, and they have helped this particular Masjid Al-Aqsa. They have helped this Palestine. They have helped the recovery of Jerusalem, Baitul Maqdis. We can't forget them. And even if we were forgetting them today, history will never forget them. Me and you, what are we doing today that history will not forget us? Over the years, there were a lot of tumults on the land till year 1127 in Mosul. Mosul is a community in Iraq that is led by Imaduddin Azingi. As I told us, Mosul were part of the community, or part of the location, or part of the village that Salman al-Farisi visited when he was in search for what? For Hidayah. Hidayah means what? Guidance. Imaduddin Azingi, he was the governor in Mosul. He was there. The Zingi, Zingi is a particular dynasty, and they have the sovereignty and they have the throne belonging to them. So the governor then was Imaduddin Azingi. This Imaduddin was also striving for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was also striving for the liberation of Baitul Maqdis, because every time these crusaders, they kept on going and coming, they kept on expanding their empires beyond the coast for the acquisition of that particular land of Baitul Maqdis. And where is Baitul Maqdis? Where is Palestine? Where is Israel? So Imaduddin Azingi was there doing all this. So in 1128, that is 1128, the year 1128, Imaduddin Azingi now marched his army. He marched them to Aleppo, where He wanted to intercept the Crusaders that were going to go to where? To Baitul Maqdis. All our discussion is centering on where? On Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis. Baitul Maqdis is Jerusalem. Masjid Al-Aqsa is that our third holy mosque. All these people we are mentioning, they are trying to protect the land of Palestine. They are trying to protect the Masjid of Al-Aqsa. Imagine Azinki marched his army to Aleppo, and then there wasn't unification between the Muslim Ummah. Different countries, different Arabian countries, they were all on their own. They were not following the Khalifa. They were not following the leader. They were not following the ruler of the Muslim Empire, who was sitting at where? At Baghdad. So, Iraq is a Muslim country. I've said it is from there that Imaduddin Azinki from Mosul came from. But Damascus, which is also a Muslim country, they are not in alliance with Mosul. And that is where Imaduddin Azinki is marching to. Because some of these Arabian countries, they were harboring Crusaders. The way we are seeing today, that there are some Muslim countries that are not in support of our Palestinians. So the remnants of the yesterday Crusaders are still in the midst of we, the Muslims of today. Imaduddin Azinki got to Damascus. Unfortunately, he was unable to get the unification that he wanted from the Muslim Ummah. He was doing this. At the time, he now chose a scholar called Muinuddin, who was a scholar, Usman ibn Mawqas. Usman ibn Mawqas, he now sent him as an ambassador back to Damascus, that he should go and talk to them, so that the unity of Islam can foster within them, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Imran, وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِأَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. That we Muslims, we should bond ourselves together. وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِأَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. We should hold on to the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Don't say because you are a Qadiriyya, you belong to a particular sect of Qadiriyya, you belong to a particular sect of Zaziriyya, you belong to a particular sect of Naqshbandiyya, you belong to a particular sect of Tijaniyya. Then we now distribute ourselves with the issue of this sectarianism. Allah said, don't do that. وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِأَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. The ablu, the cause that every one of us must tie to, is the cause of La ilaha illallah. Definitely we are having diverse opinions, diverse understanding of school of thought in Islam. But the Kalimatul Shahada, that is only one, should bond every one of us together. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. We should not separate ourselves because of minute differences of Aqidah. That is what Imaduddin Azinki is also calling for. That you, the Arabian countries, you, the Muslim brothers around, come, let's form a unity. Let's foster together and fight the Crusaders so that we can save the Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis. I hope you are following. So, he now sent a scholar, a reputable scholar, a well-known scholar, as an ambassador, Usama ibn Mawqas. He now sent him back to Damascus. That go and tell the resident members of Damascus that they need to come. They need to come so that we can also work together and save Jerusalem. So, this scholar, he was an author that used to write. He was an historian that used to write. He was a knowledgeable man that used to write. He has authority. this Usama ibn Mawqas, he wrote a lot of things that are good about the Muslims. He wrote a lot of things about the future that later happened due to the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to. Imaduddin Azinki, after a lot of efforts to bring the unification of the Muslim Ummah, he didn't achieve what he wanted. So he came out in the year 1144 on Christmas Day. Early in the morning, he now went to attack a state called Edessa. This particular state has harbored Crusaders that were on transit to where? Baitul Maqdis. So Imaduddin Azinki, who was the governor of where? Mosul in Iraq, he launched an attack on them, and alhamdulillah, he became victorious. Why, brothers? Why is it that today we are launching an attack on our enemies? We are not coming out as what? As victors. Because the istiqamah, the iman that we claim to have has been diluted, has been corrupted, because we want to belong to the family members of the super world powers. We want to dine together with them on the same table. And that is why I keep telling us, forget about skin color, forget about somebody is residing where we have Kaaba, forget about where somebody is residing where we have our Masjid Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina. Forget about them. It is you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Majority of them, we are even more closer to Allah than those that are seeing Kaaba every day. Majority of them. Not to talk of the people that are governing this place that we are talking about. And brother, let me tell you something. All leaders, they have the same traits. It is when there is no way, when they have gotten themselves into a ditch, that is when they will now be looking for an ally, a malam that will now guide them. If everything is going on smoothly for them, they won't call any malam to interfere in their decision making. They have a syllabus, they have an adab of what they want to do. All world leaders, either they are Muslims, either they are Kafir, either they are Mustashirikun, either they are whatever they call themselves. It is when the road is ruffled, that is when they will now consult Malam, please, what can we do? But if every transition is smooth, they won't call upon them. I heard about a story of recent concerning Sheikh bin Nubas. Sheikh bin Nubas was the Mufti of Saudi Arabia long time ago, during King Fahad's period, the great grandfather of the present king. There was an uproar in Turkey, and Sheikh bin Nubas was a blind man. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only blinded his sight. He didn't blind his what? His initiative. He didn't blind his intuition. That despite the fact that he was physically blind, you see lot of talmiz or talamiz or tulab students presenting their daftar and kitab in front of him, their scriptures and everything that Malam will want to read. A blind man will now be teaching those that have sight. Sheikh bin Nubas now see that in Turkey is a Muslim country, and the person that is ruling Turkey as at then was a Muslim. Okay, let me write to him that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to do. The way you are managing them, if you can take this direction, it will be better. Your country will have peace. Assalamu alaikum, Ibn Abbas. He wrote it like that. The next thing the king of Turkey did, or the president of Turkey did, was that he communicated with the what? With the king of Saudi Arabia. And you know, Sheikh bin Nubas, he was the Mufti. He was the #1 scholar in Saudi Arabia then.
So he was under the supervision of the government, because it was the government that chose him as what? As the Mufti. So the president of Turkey now called the king of Saudi Arabia that, see what your Mufti wrote to me. And one of the good characteristics of King Fahd then was that anywhere you come across Sheikh Ibn Baz, you will always give him the honor he deserved, because he was an alim. He was a reputable scholar that doesn't have any stain on his white clothes. To the extent that we are told that if they meet in a gathering where they are sharing foods like date or whatever, King Fahd will he himself will be the one feeding Sheikh Ibn Baz, because of the love for a president to come, or for the king to come down from his throne, to the extent that of feeding, just because of the hurma and the karama that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given Sheikh Ibn Baz. King Fahd now went to meet Sheikh Ibn Baz that, Ya Mufti, I received a message from the president of Turkey that you interfere in what is happening in their country. Sheikh Ibn Baz now told him that, yes, I interfere because he is my brother. And if you see the letter I wrote to him, I didn't put Mufti, I didn't put engineer Abdurrahman Zikirullah. I didn't do that. I only write Zikirullah, Abdurrahman Zikirullah. I didn't put my title, because the title belongs to the government of Saudi Arabia. I only write my name. So if you look at the letter, the paper that I used, I didn't use the letter-headed paper of my office, because the letter-headed paper of my office belongs to where? To Saudi Arabia government. So I wrote it as an entity. I didn't write the letter as a representative of the government of Saudi Arabia. So I am talking, I believe I was talking, or I communicated to my Muslim brother at the end of the day, to cut the long story short. We're told, or it was narrated to us, that King Fahd told Sheikh Ibn Baz that, Ya Mufti, anything that concerns political issue, anything concerning community, don't interfere. Don't interfere. Do you got the message? So that I'm just using this to buttress to you that all world leaders, they are the same. Forget that they are in Arabian country. Forget that they are sleeping inside Kaaba. That mentality of that power that they have, of that seat that they are sitting, is always in their brain. That is why I keep telling us, don't value. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, La farqu bayna al-arabiyyun wal-ajamiyyun. There is no difference between an Arab and a black-skinned person. Illa what? Illa taqwa. Except the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if somebody is sleeping inside Kaaba, is wearing his full sack, his beard is flowing on the ground, and even if you are talking to him as a man, to even hardly look at you will be difficult, not to talk of. Forget about that. The only thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs from us is what? Is the taqwa. And Allah had already said, وَلَا تُزَكُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. You can't say this is the most conscious person. You can't call yourself a sage. Or is there anybody that will raise his armpit, that the armpit will not smell? Even if you use 1,000 roll-ons. If you smell, is there anybody we are going to put our finger inside his bum now that won't touch a feces, that won't touch people? There's no how you wash it. Poop will still residing inside. If you chook your hand inside it very well, you will see. So brothers, this is a question now. That poo that is inside now, and you come to observe your salat, does it mean that your salat is not valid? As I'm saying now, that there is nobody, including Mubarak now, if you check it now, we find it there. Does it mean that his salat will not be accepted? But that is why Allah said, La tuzaku anfusakum. So it is whatever you see that you should use to judge. Don't go and be digging people. Don't go and be digging them. Don't go and be digging their secrets. So let's go back to what we are discussing. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, he was able to capture Damascus, but not quite long. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, he was killed. He was killed by a slave. That is why you see all these big men, all these royal people, all the people that are famous, majority of them, their death used to come from within the people around them. Yoruba people used to say, if the death of the house did not kill you, that of outside will not have opportunity to come and kill you. Any big man that they just kill cheaply, go and investigate it very well. One person from his circle around him must be like serve like an informant for the enemies that come from outside. So Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, despite all this effort that he has made for him to secure Masjid Al-Aqsa and Masjid, Jerusalem, for us, so that we can retain our land, so that all this uproar in Palestine will not happen, he was later assassinated by the slave, among the slaves that were following him. After this, that was when Salahudeen Al Ayyubi now came on board. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was the son of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. As I told you, Al Ayyubi is a dynasty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the opportunity to be governing their territory, to be governing their domain. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was there. Not quite long that he became the governor, they heard that another invasion towards Baitul Maqdis want to happen. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi now thought of one of his commanders called Shirku. And that Shirku was the paternal uncle of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. He was a ferocious commander when it comes to war. So when Salahudeen Al Ayyubi now called for him, that I need you to come and lead this contingent of this battalion and come and go and fight the Crusaders, he took along his nephew, who was whom? Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, right from his tender age, he used to be a carpenter like Mubarak. He worked very well. He was so conscious that he was the one that constructed the minbar in Masjid Al-Aqsa, because he has this craftsmanship knowledge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed on Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. So right from tender age, he has been doing that. So when he attained the age of 7-8 years, he had the story of the invasion of Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis at the age of 6, 7, and 8. So this has been in his brain. But because of the work that he's doing, and he hasn't attained the age that he can become a warrior. Like when we are talking about Ghazwatul Uhud, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever is not up to 14 years should not follow them. It was only one person that he allowed. Only one person. We have discussed all this almost 2 years ago. So at that 7-8 years, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi is powerless or incapacitated in terms of strength. Quwwatu Zahira. But he was very good in his craftsmanship, that everybody, whenever they come around, they want to buy from him that particular member that he has constructed for Masjid Al-Aqsa. He now said, no, nobody can get it from me. It is specifically made for where? For Masjid Al-Aqsa. His father was a Kurdish and his mother was a Turkish. He was born in Iraq, in Tikrit. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi is our main focal point today. That is the person we want to talk about. Because he was a legend in Islam, as I've told us at the beginning of this khutbah. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was under the tutelage of his uncle, Shirku. And Shirku was a warrior. He was a commander under the supervision of whom? Nuruddin Az-Zingi. So when Nuruddin Az-Zingi now called Shirku, that come and go and defend Islam, come and go and defend Masjid Al-Aqsa, come and go and defend Baitul Maqdis, he took along Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi is a compassionate person. He was very cheerful. He was very cheery. He was very formidable. He was very astonishing. He grew up with all these characteristics till he attained the age of 26. At the age of 26 was when his brother needed, when his uncle needed to go and confront the Crusaders. They now went together. At that particular age, he fought very hard. And they were able to liberate themselves and liberate the Masjid Al-Aqsa and liberate the Baitul Maqdis from the invaders and the Crusaders. The invaders who were the Crusaders. So, in 1147, there was a plan by another two kings that want to go and attack Baitul Maqdis, want to go and attack Masjid Al-Aqsa. Not quite long that Nuruddin Zingi died. Kurdish became the governor, and Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was still following him. At the end of the day, the dynasty of the Zingi collapsed and paved way for Salahudeen Al Ayyubi to become the governor. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi became the governor in Damascus. He was ruling after 2 years. After 2 years, that his uncle died. After 2 years, that Nuruddin Az-Zingi died. He was the next person because of his brevity. He attained the governor of Damascus. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was there governing the people of Damascus, and he was trying to spread his tentacles around all the Arabian Peninsula to gain support, to gain unification. There was a revival which happened in 1099. Through 1099 to 1144 to 1147. Now, it is unification that the leaders were searching for. And that was the point. That was the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now gave stardom to Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, which every one of us need to learn from. Which me and you we need to know. Why did he rose to that level? Was he an angel? Was he a special creator from by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No! It was the total commitment, total sincerity, and total upliftment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that he used for Islam. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was following the footpath of Nuruddin Az-Zingi, because Nuruddin Az-Zingi also want to decimate the entirety of the Crusaders. In 1154, Nuruddin Az-Zingi, he finally got Jerusalem. And in that same particular year, that was when Jerusalem now had Baitul Maqdis. That was when they now had what? They now had a king that was called Al-Malik. Amarik the First. Amarik the First was not comfortable with Nuruddin Az-Zingi. Nuruddin Az-Zingi was also not comfortable with the new king being installed in Jerusalem. some people, they now ran. There are two people that needed their support. One is called Shawarma. He was seeking the support from Nuruddin Al-Zingi that don't worry, because all of them, their eyes were on what? Were on Egypt because of the River Nile. And River Nile was just like a baby that is about to die. That everybody is awaiting the death of that baby so that they can all carry the baby. It's a strategic location in Arabian Peninsula, there in this geographical location. So there were two guys or two brothers, not biological brothers, that were fighting each other because they want to be the vizier. If you are talking about what I mean by vizier, is an highest position in Islamic governance. Vizier. So these two brothers, not of biological blood, every one of them wanted to be the vizier. One ran to Nuruddin Zengi, the other one ran to Amari first in Jerusalem. They needed support so that they can take the governance of Egypt. I hope we are following. Because if you don't understand all this, we are not going to appreciate Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. People have tried, Lillahi wa Rasuli, the way some people are also trying to strive in the cause of Allah today. But those that their name has not been eroded in the history of Islam, what did they do? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them that utmost opportunity that their name is still on the radar? Does it mean that we that were existing now, nobody is doing that? What they have done? Shawwal pledged among two of them. One is Shawwal. Shawwal pledged to Nuruddin Al-Zingi that all the taxes that will be coming from Egypt, he will be giving it to Nuruddin Al-Zingi in Damascus. And also, he was going to support the army, the battalion that he has. He's going to support them. The other one is called Dorgam. He was the one that went to the newly installed king of Jerusalem. He now told him that, I'm going to support your army if you give me the opportunity to become the what? If you support me to become the vizier of Egypt. At the end of the day, they went to battle, and Nuruddin Al-Zingi became victorious. After 2 years, Nuruddin Al-Zingi died. He died. And when he died, there was vacuum on the throne who to take over from him. He neither had a grown-up child. He has only a very little boy that can succeed him. At the end of the day, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was able to got the throne entangled to himself. And that was how Salahudeen Al Ayyubi now became the leader of Egypt and Levant. We are talking about Levant, we are talking about Syria, Sham. He brought all this together. You know, I said we are talking about the unification of these Arabian countries. We have discussed about the revival 2 weeks ago. Now, for them to become unified, that led to the emergence of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, is what we are discussing today. Now, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi became the governor in March 1169 in Egypt. And he was at the age of 31 then. At the age of 31, he had already occupied. But in Egypt then, the people that were ruling in Egypt then, they were the Fatimids, the ones you call Fatimiyun. And this Fatimiyun, they are a particular Shia sect. The sect that originated from the Ismail, a Shiite. Even if they are calling to prayer, that we used to say Ayya ala salat, they will be saying Ayya ala al-amal, Ayya ala al-amal al-khair. Instead of saying Ayya ala al-salat, they will say Ayya ala al-amal al-khair. So they practice Shiism in Egypt then. They celebrate Maulid Nabi. They did a lot of things. So when Salahudeen Al Ayyubi got the power in Egypt to overrule Egypt, he started bringing in the Sunni scholars. He started paying the scholars very well. He started taking care of the scholars very well. He started building hospitals. He started building madrasas. That everybody started enjoying what? Enjoying Egypt. To the extent that then, before the emergence of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi as the ruler of Egypt kingdom, whenever the khatib, the imam that is giving khutbah, will deliver khutbah on the minbar, he has to give the khutbah in reference to the name of the vizier, the ruler of the Egypt then. If the imam did not mention the name of the ruler of Egypt, then he will not deliver the khutbah. That was how they were living then. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi didn't take it hard on them. He pledged an allegiance to the Fatimids that, okay, what you are doing, you'll be doing it together. The first year. The second year was when revolution took place. That going forward, the khutbah that you'll be delivering, you the imam, you should not mention anybody's name again. Deliver your khutbah lillahi wa rasulihi. Deliver your khutbah on qala Allahu wa qala Rasul. Don't mention the name of any imam, don't mention the name of any ruler again. And it started the importation. Even scholars around the world, they started trooping into Egypt because they are well paid. That was how he captured Egypt too. So, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi in 1187, he was living this life. He was living this life to the fullest. He was doing a lot of revolutions. He was doing a lot of development. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was also supporting him. Year 1187, he now laid siege on Jerusalem. He was residing in Damascus. He was taking care of Aleppo. He was taking care of Syria. He was taking care of Egypt. He was taking care of other countries around Damascus where he was residing. So he now said the next thing now is to go and send away the Crusaders because they have established a dawla. They have an empire there. Because it wasn't successive years that the invasion followed each other. This is the third invasion now, right from year 1099 to 1187. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi moved here September 28, year 1187. He moved to Jerusalem and they started exchanging catapults, not swords, not guns. That was what they were using to exchange between him and the Crusaders, to the extent that there is a north wall, like the wall they call Jericho Wall in Ondo State. There is a big wall. They use catapults to destroy that wall. It's on the northeastern part of where? Of Jerusalem. It is that same wall that the Banu Israel they are built today to separate themselves, the Israelis from the Palestinians. Is still existing to today. It's a very tall wall. That all you people that you are behind this wall, we don't want you in our vicinity. It's still there in Jerusalem till today. But during the time of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, it was ordinary catapult that they used to destroy that kind of wall. The material they used to build it, wallahu alam. Because as of today, concrete, you can't use catapult to destroy concrete, except if this stone that you want to use on your catapult are brought from heaven, like the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used for Ashabul Fili. They were pebbled stones, baked stones from Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Tehran Ababila. Those birds, they are the one they call the birds of Ababil. Tarmihim bi ijaratin min sijilin. They went and picked those pebble stones from the bottom part of Jahannam. Allah said, go and pick them from there and be throwing it on the people of Ashabul Fil. Tarmihim bi ijaratin min sijil faja'alahum kasifin ma'kul. They destroy and they turn to ashes. So it is only those kind of stones that we can use now to destroy what? To destroy the wall that is erected or that is existing as a barrier in between the Palestinians and the Israelis today. But ordinary stone that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi used then in the year 1187, we can't use it to destroy even ordinary this kind of material now. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was in support. Allah supported him because of his istiqamah, because of his tasbih, because of his ibadat. Where is our own iman? Where is our own istiqamah? Where is our own subut today? Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him victory on the 27th day of Rajab, year 832 after the hijrah of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to October 1187 years ago. That was when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the opportunity to reclaim back Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis. And today is the 28th day of Rajab. Yesterday was 27, which is a reference date to the day Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was able to liberate Baitul Maqdis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and forgive him. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, he had 3 aspirations while he was alive. We can read more about him. All what I have said about him, they are just summary. And for us to understand, I took it back to year 1099 from Zainul Islami Al-Arabi. Because if you don't understand the incident before him, we will not appreciate him. So all what I have said about him, they are just summary. We should learn more about Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Can we have that kind of Salahudeen Al Ayyubi in our midst today again or tomorrow? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Amma fa inna zamana labihim bahil. The time, the era used to be mastery of those kind of people. Because these kind of people, they are unique people from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had 3 aspirations while he was alive then that gave him the victory and made him to become a legend. Number 1, what he was clamoring for was the unity of the Muslim Ummah, the security of the Muslim Ummah, that every one of us should come together. That is why I said, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. With his efforts on this to bring us together, he was able to conquer, he was able to capture a country we call Tiberias, a country we call Akka, a country we call Nebula, a community we call Nebula. Nebula is not a country, it's in Jerusalem. A place we call Ramallah. And Gaza, today, it was Salahudeen Al Ayyubi that captured all these places. He collected them from the invaders, who were the Crusaders. And all this is in the name of what? Fostering unity between us. And what made us to suffer then in the hands of the Crusaders was because we don't have that unity. And that is why we are still suffering till today. And we continue to be suffering at Tayyum al-Qiyamah, except if we go back to the word of Allah. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. Except we come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we hating up, not even walking majestically. فَفِرُّوا farra. To run back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is when we can have liberation. Number 2, part of his agenda, among the agenda that he set for himself, was the liberation of Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis from whom? From the Crusaders, making 2. And number 3, for him to conquer Constantinople or Istanbul in Turkey, because these are Arabian countries, but it has been occupied by the what? By the infidels. It has been occupied by the Crusaders. So these are the 3 agendas he set for himself. Another Qadi, a jurist called Baha'u'ddin ibn Shaddad. Baha'u'ddin ibn Shaddad. He wrote, he mentioned, he described, he said about Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. He said every time, for the love and longing for the sovereignty of Jerusalem, that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi is always burdened and with sorrow in him because of Jerusalem. The burden and sorrow was so heavy in him that even mountains could not carry the burden that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi was carrying. Because of what? Because of Baitul Maqdis. This Qadi said that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi will ride on his horse from one place to another, calling upon the Muslims to wage jihad for the liberation of Jerusalem. And he said Salahudeen Al Ayyubi used to address and exclaim that, "O Muslim, for the sake of Islam and for Islam, do whatever you need to do and save Masjid Al-Aqsa and Baitul Maqdis." And part of the things that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi used to say often was that, how can my eyes sleep while Baitul Maqdis, why Masjid Al-Aqsa is under occupation by what? By the Crusaders. Again, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi used to say that, how can I eat and be content and be contented with whatever I eat while the illegal occupants are there occupying Baitul Maqdis and Masjid Al-Aqsa? How will I be resting? How will I be enjoying myself while the structure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the land that is harboring the third site for the Muslim, the Qibla for the Muslim, where will it be under the occupation of the invader? And me, I will not be enjoying myself here. These are the 3 statements that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi used to utter from time to time. And this is what the Qadi also mentioned to us, that they were very obvious that what was in his mind was the true reflection of the action that led Salahudeen Al Ayyubi for him to have conquered Jerusalem. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, on the 4th of March 1193, year 1193, after the battle of Itin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seized his soul. And before he died, he mentioned some things that I want every one of us to juxtapose on this statement that Salahudeen Al Ayyubi said. That whenever I die, in the shroud, in the winding sheet that they will use to wrap me, this word, the Saifullah, the sword that I've used to fight in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be inserted in my sword, in my shroud, in the sheet that they will use to wrap me. I want to take it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He now said, "O Muslims, O people, I, Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, the conqueror of Egypt," the person who conquers is what we call conqueror. The conqueror of Egypt, the conqueror of Yemen, the conqueror of Palestine, the conqueror of Aleppo, the conqueror of Jerusalem. I, Sultan Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, took nothing from this world except the burial shroud. That we should take this as a lesson for we that we are living, and do not be deceived by the world. This was the last statement uttered by Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. Allahumma ighfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'fu anhu وأكرم نزله ووسع مدخله ونقي من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. Inna Allah malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ma la nabiyya ba'da. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us this opportunity to be here today again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all what we have discussed. May He accept this as an act of ibadah. Like Quran have said, or like Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have told us in authentic hadith, that if you read or you recite one harf in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you 10 rewards. Like Alif, Lam, Mim is a word, is an ayah. Those are 3 alphabets. Alif, Bata, Sa, Jim, Hel, How, Dal. They are alphabet like our A, B, C, D, E, F. They are alphabet. If you read or you recite A, which is equivalent to our Alif, Allah will give you 10 rewards. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cleared it for us that Alif, Lam, Mim, these 3 words, or Yasin, or Hel, Mim, or Nun, all of them, they are singular alphabets. The 3 that are together, they are words. Not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you 10 rewards for 3 alphabets. He will give you 10 rewards for each alphabet. So the 3 alphabets join together. Alif, Lam, Mim, you get how many rewards? 30 rewards. Ya and Sin, Yasin, they are 2. Ta, they are 2. Ka, Ya, Ayin, Sod, beginning of Surah Maryam, is 5. Ka, Ya, Ayin, Sod, they are 5. You are going to get 50 rewards. So all what we have been saying, for the person saying it, and for we that we are listening to it, we are hearing it, we are going to be getting each reward of whatever we hear and whatever we use according to how we hear it, as far as it is from Kitabullah wa Sunnatun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. In summary, for those of us that we are speaking Aqsa, inshallah, what we have discussed, abunda muka fada yau shine batun wanda suka yi ma gidan Allah hari, su yan salabiyya, su ne muke kira Crusaders. Na fara maganar nan sati 2 baya, kuma yana so gama magana domin alkawari da na yi sati da ya wuce na dan gamce daga gurin alkawari da na yi. Mun fara magana saki ne muka fara sati da ya wuce, amma na duba ce ina da maganganu da yawa da na baro su a baya. Ina so in kara da wayannan kafin mu fara sababbin maganganu insha Allah. So abun da ya kawo maganan masallacin mu na Baitul Maqdis yau kenan, kuma akwai wani bawan Allah ana ce masa Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Alfarma da ya ma addini, kima da daraja da ya ba addini, Allah ya sa sunan shi yana raye har yau. To za mu ce mu da muna raye yanzu da ba wanda ya san mu, za mu ci abun da ya yi yadda Allah ya iralice shi, mu ba za mu yi ba ne. Domin Allah bai zai sauko da wasu aljannu ko mala'iku ba su zo su taimaka mu akan addinin mu ba, Allah ba zai yi ba. Kamar yadda Allah ya yi ma Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lokacin yakin Badar, Allah ya tura masa mala'iku 500 suna hannun dama, 500 suna hannun hagu, har ma sun nada rawani. Mutane sun gan su aka, amma ba su san cewa wayannan mala'iku bane, sai dai manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Su ne lokacin da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yana ta fada da su kafirin Makka din nan, in sun daga makomin su ko adda sword, in sun daga haka kafin ya kai gurin kafiri din nan kanshi ya riga ya sauka. Shine Allah ya fada a cikin aya cikin suratul Tauba yace wa ma ramaita iz ramaita walakin Allah rama. Wannan aya akwai abu yadda ana yi da shi. In ka san ayan nan sosai kuma ka san yadda ana yi da shi, ba wani enemy ɗinka da zai samu nasara a kanka. Wa man ramaita is ramaita walakin Allah rama. Allah ya ja ma manzon sa sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa man ramaita ba kai da mutane ka bane kuna daga mako takobi ko me takobi ba kuma ne kuna daga ba kuna yanka kai din su kafiran nan ba. Idan ramaita lokacin da ka daga ba kai bane kana yanka kansu ba, walakin Allah rama, ni Allah ne na tura maka support, goyin baya. To shine nake fada, yanda na fada, yanda kuma nake ta fada kowane ko yaushe. Allah bai zai sauko daga sama ba, kuma ba zai turo mana da mala'iku ba, kuma ba zai turo mana da su aljanni ba zo su taimake mu. Mu da zamu tashi da kanmu. Amma kafin mu fara daga makami, wani jihadi ne, wani da'awa ne mun yi. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi yanda aka haife mu, yanda aka haife ka, shi ma aka ne uwarsa ta haife shi. Dan Iraki ne, amma a cikin tarihi na Islam yau musamman akan maganar filinmu, masallacinmu din nan, Baitul Maqdis, Masjid Al-Aqsa, ba yanda za mu rubuta tarihinsa. In sunan shi baya ciki, tarihin nan da zai cika ba. Da ya fara rayuwarsa, ya fara kamar kafinta ne, amma Allah ya bashi wayo, ya bashi ilimi, ya bashi farin jini, shi mutumi na gari ne, kowa yana son sa. Kuma shi ne ya yi mimbar da su limamai suna zauna a kan ranar juma'a aka ko da suke jan hutubansu a kai, shi ne yi na masallacin nan. Kafinta mai kyau ne. To yana da wani hanku na, yana da wani kawu shi ne this to be a warrior, shi warrior mayaki. Yana da wani kawu mayaki ne, kawu daga gurin babansa ne, ba daga gidan mamansa ba ne. Yana da wani kawu mayaki ne, babban mayaki ne. To a wani lokaci an ce su yan salbiya din nan za su zo su karbi masallacin mu din nan. To akwai wani sarki lokaci ana ce masa Nuruddin Azingi. Nuruddin Azingi din nan shi ne mai gidan kawun Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Sai ke kai kawun Salahudeen Al Ayyubi din nan sunansa Shirku. Sai Shirku din nan sai ke wato zan je wani yaki, kai yaro na kabi ne. Sai suka je, lokacin ya kai shekara 26. To sun je yaki din kuma Allah ya ba su nasara. Bayan shekara 2 Nuruddin Azingi mai gidan kawunsa sai rasu. Allah yadda yake yi sha'aninsa, sai Allah ya bude ma Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, sai Allah ya bude masa anya. Haka ne shi ma ya zama gwamna a Damascus. Yana nan. Mutanen Egypt ba su da gwamna lokaci. Yayi sai da ya karbi filin Egypt din nan, domin lokacin da muna da babban matsala a kasashen Larabawa, ba sulhu tsakanin su ne. Islam yana ta kuka, musulmi suna ta kuka, domin su Islam lokacin ko musulmi lokacin kamar marayu ne, kowa yana dokan girma a gurinsa, ba wanda yana so ya sauko da kansa. To sai su wannan yan salbiya din nan sai suka shigo kuma, sai Salahudeen Al Ayyubi sai ce wai ina ai dai ku ba za Allah ba zai ba ku nasara a kanmu ba. Kuma shi ya sa abubuwa guda uku a gabansa. Na farko sulhu tsakanin su musulmai, yadda za mu yi kalma guda ɗaya, yadda Allah ya ja mana a cikin suratu Ali Imran sura na 3, Allah ya ce wai wa tasimu bi hablillahi jami'an wala tafarraqu. Duk ku musulmai, ku mumunai, ku ruke igiya guda ɗaya, ka ku yi samu sabani tsakaninku, a ce wannan dan tarika ne, wannan dan izala ne, wannan dan bidiya ne, ku bar wannan a waje ɗaya. Wa tasimu bi hablillahi jami'a, ku rike igiyar nan da ya rike ku tare, da ya tara ku kuma me ne igiya din? La ilaha illallah Muhammadu Rasulullah. Wannan shi ne ku gani a gaban ku. Ku bar mu ce wannan yana yi salati jami'a, salati sabiki, wannan yana jawratu kamali, wannan nan tijaniya ne, wannan yana bin shi'a badal. Ku bar wannan, ku dubi la ilaha illallah. In kun duba wannan wani shege ka dangare da zai shiga cikin tsakanin bangon gidanku ba. Kuka da Salahudeen Al Ayyubi da yake kai kenan. Na farko kenan abin da ya sa a gabansa. Na biyu yanda zai kwashe filin mu din nan, yanda zai kwashe filin mu din nan, filin Palestine, inda muna da masallacin mu, masallaci na 3. Na farko shine na Makka, inda akwai Ka'aba din nan. Na biyu shine na Madina, masallacin Madina sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Na 3 shine na Baitul Maqdis da yana Jerusalem, kasan nan da su kafirai suke zuwa, yadda mu muna zuwa Saudiya muna haji, su suna zuwa Jerusalem, suke su ma sun je pilgrimage. Gurin nan yadda Salahudeen Al Ayyubi yadda zai kwashe mana filin nan shine yana gabansa. Na 3 da yana gabansa shine Turkey, Istanbul, shi ma filin kasan mu musulmi ne. Kuma su yan salbiya din nan sun je sun zauna gurin, da gurin filin ruwa, da gurin kasa da ruwa, duk wuraren sun je sun mallakan gurin. Kuka da yana ta yi kenan, amma kuma da niyya mai kyau. In mutum yana da niyya mai kyau, sai ka yi aiki, sai aiki ya bi niyyanka. Kamar kai ta addu'a ne a cikin gida, kana tahajjudi, washe gari ka fara karanta Qur'ani, kuma su sawawunka sun wuce aiki, sun je makaranta, kuma ka ce Allah zai kawo maka abinci, wallahi yunwa ne zai kashe ka a gida. Za ka je ka yi aiki ne, ka je ka nemi kuɗi. In ka samu kuɗi, addini din ma za ka ji dadin ta. Ba wai kana ta jira wani ba ya zo ya baka ba. Ko ma malamai, duk malamai mai ilimi, ko ma in ba ma mutum bane koyar da kai ba, in su mala'iku ne, kana da ilimi kafi na su mutane angwaninka, ka je ka aiki domin ka ci haram. Mu gyarewa, za ga mafi yawancin malamai mu da ana jan musalla masallaci, za ka gan shi mabi yana siyar da goro, mabi yana siyar da itace, za ke malam mai goro shi ne limamin mu. Amma yanzu haka ne, ku duba kasashen Yarubawa yanzu, mafi yawanci yara karamin yara ma da suka fita daga makaranta ma, an ce ma wani ma ya karanta suratul Fatiha zai riga juya ta daga kasa zuwa sama ne. Amma domin babban riga, domin ya yi a larabci, shi ma zama sheik, kuma shi shege ne. Karamin ilimi haka shi ma zama babban shege, domin yana da mutane da suna bin sa. Ba wannan bane addini ba, ba wannan bane Islam ba wannan bane zai sa ka gaba Allah ba. Shi wannan Salahudeen Al Ayyubi bawa Allah ne, ba aljannu bane, ba mala'ika ba, kuma yayi kokari, kuma ya kwace mana filin mu. Abin da yasa sunansa Allah bai cire sunansa a cikin tarihin mu yau kenan ba. To ni da kai ina za sa sunayen mu? Tambaya din kenan. Me ne mun riga mu yi ma addini din nan? Me ne mun riga mu yi? Me ne muna yi? Me ne za mu yi ma addini nan gobe? Ina za sa sunan mu? Kai da baka yi yau ba, ya yaran ka za su yi. Ka nuna musu ne ko ka koyar da su? Allah ya samu dace. To karatu da muka yi kenan. Mun kawo darajar Salahudeen Al Ayyubi. Darajarsa. Mun yi magana a matuka, amma a tarkace ya yi ma addini alheri, babban alheri, kuma lokacin da zai rasu, Allahu akbar, Allahu akbar, Allahu akbar, Allah ya samu gama lafiya. Kun san akwai wasu a cikin bawon ne Allah fa, lokacin da za su rasu, za su san ranar da za su rasu. Na taba gaya mana nan, Salman Farisi ya gaya ma matansa, ce to yau ina jira wasu bako. Akwai wani abu, wani turare da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya ba su da suka dawo daga wani yaki. Salmanu Al-Farisi sai ya gaya ma matansa, ce turaren nan da na baki ajiya, ki je ki dauko mu, ina son hura turare a cikin gida yau, domin akwai wayansu bakuna da yake ba su taba zuwa gurin wani su je su yi ziraran wani ba, ina son karbe su kaman baki a gidana yau. Allah ya riga ya nuna masa makomansa, kuma shi ma asali yadinsa ba kafiri ne, ya baro garinsu yadda ni da kai muka baro garinmu mun zo mun nema abin da za mu ci a Lagos. Haka ne su suka baro garinsu sun je nema hidaya. Salmanu Farisi ba mai kudi ubansa a garinsa, amma ya bar komai da komai domin suna bautawa mutane. Ya ce wannan ba anya ba, ya zama Krista, ya zama Nasara, ya yi mai kafin ya wuce stations hawa guda 8 kafin ya kai gurin manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Madina, kuma ba shekara ɗaya ba. A cikin tarihi ma kamar 15 years, shekara 15 da ya bar garin su zuwa ya sami Madina, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam Madina, ya yi shekara 15 domin yana neman hidaya. Ni da kai yau, ni da ku yau, ni da kai na ma ina hidaya da muke nema? Mene muka yi ma addini din nan? Tambaya na kenan. Salahudeen Al Ayyubi, he was a legend and will continue to be a legend until Al-Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us their kind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us his kind again, so that we can see a revolution in the Arabian Peninsula and in the Muslim world at large. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyyi alladhina amanu sallu alaihi wa sallimu taslima. So, that's where we are going to stop today, inshallah. As we have agreed, 2 o'clock, and it's 2 o'clock exactly that we are going to start our salah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us of our shortcomings. We started the discussion last week. I might temporarily cease the discussion for some time, because at the end of the khutbah last week, I mentioned something concerning somebody that blasphemed, I can call it a blasphemy, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he was asking Saudi government to pay the Jews compensation, right? I think we need to take care of that. That Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that sent the Jews away from Medina. Wani ne a Dubai ya faɗi kamar sati 2 baya yanzu, ya ce wai, what is compensation? Diya. Let's say diya. Manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam da ya shiga Madina, ya same su Bayahude ko Yahudawa, ya same su a Madina, kuma sun samu Treaty of Medina, Treaty and Constitution of Medina. Sun zauna sun rubuta constitution tare, ce yanzu na same ku a nan, in su masu mun adawa in sun zo ba za ku tamake su ku yi fada a kaina ba. Su yi maganganun nan, su Yahudawa din nan su uku ne, Banu Kainuka, Banu Nazir, Banu Quraiza. Wayannan ne su uku din nan sun samu sun rubuta magana da suka yi tare. Sun yi jeje na to tare da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, amma sun cuce manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sai manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya kore su. To yanzu a nan Dubai wani balarabe ya ce wai manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam da ya kore su rannan kamar shekara 2000 baya yanzu, wai ya cuce su ne, kuma wanda ya magana na musulmi ne. Sati biyu ai na ga mana sunansa a nan sati da ya wuce. So ina son kawo maganar nan daga fari, lokacin da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya shiga Madina. Ina son fara sati mai zuwa insha Allah. Me faru? Me yasa ya kore su? Su ba Yahuda din nan daga ina suka zo? Me tarihin su daga asaliya? Insha Allah, Allah ba mu rai ba mu lafiya. Allah ba mu rai ba mu lafiya. Allah ba mu rai ba mu lafiya. Shine za mu fara. So maganar saki da na fara sati da yake zan dan dakata. Insha Allah. Bari mu gama maganar wannan. domin yanzu muna cikin hali da yake yayi magana a ce ka kawo mana hujja. Ati burhanakum, kar wani mala idan sai a gaban mu ya tafiya mana abun da ra'ayinsa Islam ya wuce wannan. So me yasa manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya kore su dukansu, ya kori wayansu bayan Badaru, ya kori wayansu bayan Hudu, ya kori wayansu bayan Khanda. Me yasa me suka yi? manzo Allah ya yi musu adalci ko bai yi ba? Za mu sani. Allahumma izzil islam wal muslimin wa zilla shirka wal mushrikin wa damir adaka ada ad-din wansur ibaraka min wahidin bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma ati nufusana taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khairu man zakkaha anta waliyyu wa mawlaha. Bismillahir la yadur ma ismi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama. Raditu billahi rabban wa bil islam dinan wa bi muhammadin nabiyya sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. For those that came late, our praying time now is 2 p.m. No more after 2, inshallah. I love you.